Hey there guys, so today we are going to be talking about the Google Pixel Fold. I'm primarily an iPhone user, have been for quite a number of years. I've had my fair share of Android phones here and there. Like I had the Google, it's like it was like the 6P, Samsung, you know, S4 was like the first smartphone I had the Samsung S6, and then I don't think I didn't have the 7, then I got the 8, had like a Note as well and all solid phones. But then I feel like just as I went through college and then getting to into more of a professional life, it feels like the iPhone is just something that's going to fit me better, whether it's, messaging different companies and stuff like that, or interacting with people in a more professional way. Like it just kind of pulled me that way. But also, to me, the phone's pretty solid, especially since in the 13 they introduced their ProMotion display. That was a game changer. It was so annoying that they only had 60 hertz on all their phones, and then they finally got to it and made their phone better. And currently, I have the iPhone 15 Pro Max, so that's where I'm coming from. Now, I before we get into this video, I'm gonna say like the Google Pixel Fold. This is not a bad phone in my opinion. If you could get it on sale for like, I think I've seen it for like 1,400 bucks, or you could buy it from somebody else that's getting rid of it for probably like 1,200. Buy it on eBay, in new condition for relatively cheap. That price point is a lot easier to swallow than almost 2 grand on a phone. Even with your carrier monthly payment stuff or whatever you may be doing, or any trading stuff. That maybe trading could help out there. But I haven't seen a lot of trade-ins for this, at least in the time that I was looking at it. But I will say, if you're going to be getting a foldable phone, if you don't want to watch the rest of the video, I feel like the Google Pixel Fold is probably the best foldable phone that they have out there today. I feel like this is better than what Samsung has to offer, and any stuff that Motorola has, but that's also kind of a little bit of a different design there with the traditional flip phone. OnePlus I know has a foldable phone. Not really too sure about that one. Haven't really looked into that as much, but the reason I was looking at this is because they're the first ones to actually put a decent screen on the front. I was really annoyed with Samsung having their like weird aspect ratio on the front with such a long phone. It just seemed really awkward and seemed like it was kind of forcing you to open up the phone and use it that way majority of the time. This, you finally have a solid screen on the front for just, when you don't want to have to, unfold your phone to reply to a text message, make calls, scroll through like whatever it may be, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you're using, sending people Snapchats, anything like that. Like it's nice to have a solid screen that has a good camera on the front for just doing pretty much day-to-day things. And then you have the really great internal screen that you can open up to if you want to get into some more media consumption. So let's start off. I mean, with for the build, I'm so glad. Like they're one of the first. I feel like to actually have a folding device where it folds perfectly flat and there's not this weird gap between the two screens, or I guess the single screen that's folded on the inside. Like finally, I don't know why. Like other companies like Samsung would have that gap there that just seemed really goofy to me. This looks really solid. It's like if when you were a kid and you'd see the spies with these crazy devices. That's what this really reminds me of. Super cool device, um, just from the design aspect. Though the inside, that screen, just feels. I mean, I know it's because it's foldable phone, but like the plasticky feel feels kind of cheap. And hopefully, it doesn't really have any problems. But feels like there could be, something that could happen to it, and could be, easily broken. I've seen, people get stuff behind the screen, and it's caused some pressure to be put somewhere on the screen and then break it. And that's quite unfortunate, just because like it might be something that's in their pocket that they, can't really prevent. Like there'd be like hair or whatever it may be, or some like little dust particles and stuff that could cause it to be broken. So hopefully, you have some protection on this because it's not a cheap device. The next thing, the front screen being the best front screen I would say on a foldable phone, it's still not perfect. Um, I really, when I have the two phones, the iPhone and this, I'm just drawn more to my iPhone because of the size of the screen and like the primary screen that I would be interacting with. Whereas like on the Fold, the primary screen is all right for typing, but it still feels like I don't know. I'm using like say just a regular size iPhone, and for me, in the size of my hands, I just have a lot better of an experience typing on a bigger screen. And I mean, I can get that on here, but if I have to, open it up just to be typing messages and stuff like that, that's kind of annoying. I feel like that, would make it more of like a conversation piece, and people would be asking you questions about it because like that looks so cool. What is that phone? Somebody's been using iPhones their entire life, and you have this. Maybe you'd open it up and that cool design or that cool, the foldable feature would be something that would kind of intrigue them to take a look into foldable phones. But for me, like I'm gonna mainly interact with that primary screen on the foldable, or on any phone, just the single screen that it has, and that screen needs to be very solid, especially if that's going to be the thing that's the majority of the experience. Everything else could be amazing, but if something that you interact with for the majority of the experience is not something you are a fan of, then it's probably going to ruin, other aspects of the experience for you as well. And it's okay, if that's not good with you and you want to, stick with like, be like me, stick with my iPhone just because of that, and that just the function of the device is more favorable to you. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't get this phone, because if you want a foldable phone, I would grab this guy. Definitely the best foldable phone out there. I mean, it has solid cameras on it. The build quality is very solid. The hinge, I think, is great. I think it's a lot better than what Samsung has in their hinges, just like in the terms of how it functions. Uh, being you'd have like bigger bezels, but it's like first world problems. The bezel's a little bit bigger on the inside. I'd rather have a solid hinge than worry about the size of the bezels. Plus, also then they have the small selfie camera on the inside, and even the camera on the backside isn't bad at all. But then another thing too that this kind of suffers from is going to be the battery life. Whereas like with my iPhone, I can get to an end of the day and have like between 50 to like probably like 40% of the battery left, and that's like the end of, I guess I should say, a work day. And then I have the rest of the night to use the phone, and like most time when I go to bed, I have like 30% left. Or some days I even don't even plug my phone in at night because I still have like 45% when I'm going to bed, and then I'll just in the morning charge it a little bit, leave for work, charge it at work for a little bit, and it's good to go. And also that kind of helps the battery health on my iPhone, which is nice, because Apple has to be like that. Not a big fan of that, but it is what it is. Just kind of another thing to deal with. But definitely, I'd recommend to you guys, if you want to go check out a foldable phone, you can always go and get one. Pick it up from somebody if you know it's what you're gonna want, or you can always go and pick up, like, get one from Best Buy, and put it on a card, or you buy it and then you could always return it if you don't like it and switch back to your old phone. But don't get locked into a contract or something, or like the monthly payments and stuff like that, if you aren't for sure that you're going to like this device. And I will say too, like the placement is a little goofy on the side because of the shape of the phone when it's closed, but it's not the worst. And also too, I'm kind of a little bit of a sucker for having the uh, Face ID. It's something that's really useful for me. Whether it's like tap to pay and stuff like that, and I just like it better than the fingerprint readers. I don't know. I know that maybe they'll eventually get a thumb print reader underneath the display, but there's only so much you can fit in this package, um, especially with having that big screen and then the two narrow halves of the phone. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this phone. Go check it out for yourself. I'm not going to be switching from it. I just, my iPhone just feels better to use overall. It's not an Android or iPhone, like I should say Android or iOS type of thing. It's just the device overall. Like it has, the feel in the hand and the just experience of using the device is just better. So that's why I'm going to stick with it. Maybe they'll make a foldable phone that's taller, so that front screen is even a little bit bigger and more in line with the size of a normal phone, and then you have the option to open it up on the inside. So we'll see what they do there, but again, too, it's going to make the phone kind of heavy, so that might not happen. And it's kind of nice that they still have a physical SIM card tray. It's annoying going to the eSIM now with the iPhone because I can't really switch between phones as easily, but it is what it is. So thank you guys for checking out this video. Those are just my thoughts as an iPhone user on the Pixel Fold. I'm not going to get me to switch, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for what gets released in the future, and maybe they'll have a Google Pixel Fold 2 that will kind of fix the problems that I have with this and cause me to switch back to Android after so many years. But if you guys give this video a like, comment, subscribe, all that, that'd be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.